There's a new kind of quarterback stepping into the NFL. And no, he doesn't look like your usual fifth-round flyer. He's not begging for reps, not bowing to hierarchy, and definitely not fading into shadows. His name is Shedeur Sanders, and he's not just playing the game, he's reshaping it. If you thought rookie QBs were supposed to be quiet, humble, clipboard-holding side characters behind grizzled vets, well, Shedeur's here to flip that entire narrative upside down, tweet about it, and maybe throw a 40-yard strike while he's at it. This guy didn't just show up to the Browns facility with a smile and a helmet. He showed up with a brand, a reputation, a chip, and apparently first-team buzz. And thanks to leaks coming from none other than Myles Garrett and Jeudy, the whole league now knows what Cleveland probably hoped to keep under wraps a little while longer. Shedeur Sanders is coming for the QB1 spot, and he's doing it loud, fast, and unapologetically. Let's break down the chaos. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. It started subtly. A few whispers during joint practices. A perfectly timed spiral. A clean 2-minute drill. Then a few more curious eyes on the sideline. But once Myles Garrett, the heartbeat of Cleveland's defense, starts making sly comments about that young QB looking real comfortable with the first, the NFL world perks up. Garrett isn't one to toss out fluff. If he says someone's got it, they probably got it. Then comes Jeudy, receiver, route technician, locker room pulse check. He posts a story, vague but telling. Iron sharpens iron. QB1 loading. A quick glance at the footage reveals Sanders throwing the ball to him in full first-team gear. Cue panic at the Browns' PR desk. Because suddenly, the narrative that Shedeur was a developmental guy gets drop-kicked into a trash can. Now you got fans asking why the fifth-round rookie is already running plays with the starters. Why veterans are talking about him like he's been in the league 3 years. Why coaches are tiptoeing around questions like they're dodging landmines. And maybe the better question, why isn't he officially QB1 yet? Because let's get something straight. This isn't hype for the sake of hype. This isn't some viral moment. This is a legitimate disruption of the traditional quarterback ladder. And Shedeur didn't do it by screaming into a mic or writing his dad's name into the headlines. He did it by being different. From the jump, it was clear Shedeur wasn't wired like most rookies. Sure, he came in with swagger, but it wasn't empty bravado. It was calculated confidence. Not loud, but firm. A guy who walks into the building with a sense of inevitability. He studies like a starter, prepares like a 10-year vet, keeps his circle tight, doesn't get rattled. The energy? Steady, controlled. The kind of quarterback presence that's been sorely missing in Cleveland for, well, a generation or two. And it's that presence, more than any deep throw or scrambled drill, that's gotten under the skin of the NFL establishment. Because Shedeur Sanders didn't wait his turn. He took it. Of course, not everyone's thrilled. The rise of Shedeur has split the football world straight down the middle. On one side, the believers, the players, analysts, and fans who see the precision, the processing speed, the maturity, and know this guy is built for it. On the other, the old-school purists, clinging to earning your stripes, convinced that Shedeur's meteoric rise is more social media momentum than actual performance. They're the ones side-eyeing the highlights, dismissing the leaks as hype, calling the media attention distracting, and questioning whether he's earned it. But that's exactly what makes this moment so fascinating. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about the new NFL. An NFL where rookies walking with brands bigger than some Pro Bowlers, where clips go viral faster than playbooks get installed, where quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders don't just compete, they command. And you know what? It's working. Because whether you like it or not, Shedeur's brand and his play are working in tandem. One fuels the other. He's not just getting attention. He's delivering once he has it. That's the difference. You can't ignore the performance just because the spotlight showed up first. The guy is cool under pressure, calm in chaos, sharp with his reads. And he's moving the ball consistently. That's what's getting teammates on board. Not the name, not the narrative, the results. Even veterans who've seen 100 rookies come and go are saying this one feels different. And if that doesn't carry weight in an NFL locker room, nothing does. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Browns. Oh boy, this team is notorious for QB dysfunction. Quarterback controversies are practically a preseason tradition in Cleveland at this point. But this one is hitting different. Why? Because for once, the drama isn't about failure. It's about too much promise in the wrong place at the wrong time for the people who didn't plan for it. Let's not forget, Sanders wasn't supposed to be in the mix. Gabriel was a presumed guy of the future. Flacco, the vet mentor. Pickett, the scrappy trading option. Shedeur, just a bonus. Something to groom, maybe flip later, maybe stash for 2 seasons. And now, he's skipping the grooming phase. He's throwing darts in 11 on 11S. He's leading huddles with starters. And he's got the 2 most vocal leaders on the team, Garrett and Jeudy, subtly nudging the public toward a reality everyone's afraid to say out loud. Shedeur Sanders might already be the best quarterback on this team. And that terrifies old-school football minds. Because if Shedeur becomes a starter, it doesn't just disrupt the depth chart. It disrupts everything. The idea that you have to wait 3 years. The idea that branding is a distraction. The idea that a rookie can't lead a locker room filled with millionaires. Shedeur is proving all that wrong, just by doing his job better than anyone else. But here's the part the Browns can't ignore. Momentum like this is fragile. If you try to box it up, delay it, or slow walk it to protect the status quo, you risk losing everything. The locker room vibe, the fan excitement, the forward motion. Right now, Shedeur has everything trending in the right direction, except for the official stamp of approval. And that stamp, it's coming, one way or another. Because if he keeps getting those first team reps, and let's be honest, they're not leaking by accident, he's going to put on tape, in preseason, in joint practices, on camera, and when the world sees it, there will be no more hiding him. The Browns will have 2 options: let the future happen, or try and delay it and pay the price. Because the truth is this, it doesn't matter where you were drafted. It doesn't matter how famous your dad is. It doesn't matter how loud the debates get on TV. What matters is how you perform when it's your turn. And Shedeur Sanders? He's making the most of every second he gets on that field. So what's next? Simple. The Browns need to stop pretending they're managing a regular rookie. They're not. They're managing a movement. And movements don't wait. Shedeur is here. The vets believe. The fans are catching up. The media is lighting the fuse. All that's left is for the Browns to light the torch. All right, time to finish this story the way Shedeur Sanders is finishing reps at Browns camp. Decisively, confidently, and with the kind of clarity that leaves no doubt. Because let's be honest, at this point, the question isn't whether Shedeur belongs. It's not about if the reps are justified, or the veterans are just hyping him up to play nice with the media. No, those conversations are done. That ship has sailed. That noise has already been silenced by the one thing that cuts through all the distractions in the NFL: performance. And Shedeur? He's stacking performances like a 10-year vet. The dude has walked into training camp with NFL talent flying at him from every angle. Disguised coverages, heat-seeking edge rushers. Defensive backs try and make their name off baiting a rookie, and still, he's delivering. Quick reads. No panic. Crisp footwork. Anticipation throws that look like they were rehearsed 10 times over, even when the play breaks down. That's not just rare. That's unignorable. And now, after all the viral moments, the whispers from Garrett and Jeudy, the press clippings and the fan hype, one reality is staring the Cleveland Browns right in the face. If you don't hand this man the job soon, you're going to lose more than just games. You're going to lose momentum. Let's zoom in on that for a second, because momentum isn't just a nice-to-have in the NFL. It's everything. Momentum is what separates 3 to 14 teams from 9 to 8 playoff surprises. It's what gets a coach from the hot seat to a contract extension. It's what turns a rookie quarterback into a franchise cornerstone or a cautionary tale. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is momentum. He's the embodiment of upward trajectory. The guy the locker room is naturally rallying around. The guy whose progress has been so rapid, it's forcing veterans and analysts alike to stop mid-sentence and say, wait, he's doing what now? But here's the problem with momentum. Mishandle it, and it evaporates. Bury a guy like Shedeur behind a weaker performer just because of protocol, and you don't just stall his growth. You send the whole team a message. Merit doesn't matter here. And if there's one thing NFL players hate, it's that. Because every single one of them, from first-round studs to undrafted journeymen, is out there grinding for their spot. And when they see a rookie earning his place while the coaching staff slow plays it to protect an old-school hierarchy, that frustration boils. And let's not act like the Browns have the luxury to slow-walk anything. This isn't a team that's flush with winning culture. They're not riding a decade of sustained success. They're not above taking risks. If anything, they owe it to their fans to stop playing scared and start playing smart. And smart, in this case, means leaning into what's working. Let's lay it out as plainly as possible. Joe Flacco? Veteran presence, yes. But not your future. Not your present, either. Kenny Pickett? Inconsistent. And still try to reclaim the poise he lost halfway through his rookie year in Pittsburgh. Dylan Gabriel? Talented, yes. But has yet to flash the control or command Shedeur has shown in a fraction of the reps. And Shedeur? He's already winning 2-minute drills. He's already earning the respect of all-pro defenders. He's already moving the offense faster and cleaner than the guys ahead of him. And now, thanks to the leaked first-team reps, the locker room knows what the fans are starting to suspect. He's got it. And here's where things get spicy. This isn't just about arm talent or maturity. This is about disruption. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a new kind of quarterback. He's walking into the NFL as a fully formed brand, with media training, camera presence, confidence, and a public platform that dwarfs half the league. That scares people. Not because it's a problem, but because it's new. It's unfamiliar. In the old NFL, quarterbacks were expected to fade into the system, pay dues in silence, and speak only when spoken to. In the new NFL, guys like Shedeur show up with a camera crew, a business plan, a chip on their shoulder, and then back it all up with perfect throws and calculated footwork. It's disruptive, it's bold, and it's working. This is the kind of cultural moment that turns heads not just in Cleveland, but league-wide. Executives in other buildings are watching. Coaches from other divisions are quietly saying, how do we let him fall to the 5th round? They're watching how the Browns handle this, watching if they lean into the future or cling to the past. Because here's the hard truth. If Shedeur Sanders were a first-round pick playing like this wouldn't even be a conversation. He'd be locked in as the Week 1 starter. Full install, full support, all gas, no break. But because he was a 5th rounder, we're pretending this is some moral dilemma? No, it's not. Performance doesn't care about where you were drafted. Neither should coaching decisions. And the longer the Browns wait to accept that, the more obvious it becomes that they're scared of their own success. Let's go back to the players for a second. Because while execs and coaches make the decisions, it's the locker room that feels the impact. When your star pass rusher and WR1 are gassing up a rookie quarterback unprompted, that's a signal. That's not about hype. That's about buy-in. And buy-in, especially from veterans, is priceless. It's what makes teams cohesive, what makes game plans work, what separates talent from results. Right now, Shedeur has that buy-in, and that means the coaching staff is on the clock. Because if you don't capitalize on it soon, you don't just lose momentum, you lose trust. And good luck getting that back. So now we're at a crossroads. Cleveland can stick to the blueprint, pretend the hierarchy still makes sense, and hope the fans don't start booing every time Shedeur's not the one under center. Or they can wake up. They can say what everyone else already sees, that this rookie, this 5th round, branded up, media-savvy disruptor, is the guy, not in 3 years, not when someone else gets injured. Now, because make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders is not waiting for permission. He's taking his reps, taking his opportunities, and if the Browns don't give him the job, he might just take that, too. So let's end this with the most important question. What are the Browns so afraid of? Afraid he's not ready? The tape says otherwise. Afraid the media attention is too big? He was born in it. Afraid of the optics of starting a fifth-round rookie? Ask Tom Brady how that turned out. At this point, the only thing stopping Shedeur Sanders from becoming QB1 is the Browns themselves. And for a franchise that spent decades trying to find any sign of quarterback greatness, that's not just ironic, it's tragic. So don't blow this, Cleveland. Don't hesitate just because you didn't plan for this. Because sometimes the guy you didn't expect to lead you turns out to be the only one who can. And Shedeur Sanders? Yeah, he's that guy. Let's take a breath. But only because this thing is about to get even more intense. We've established that Shedeur Sanders is shattering expectations, gaining ground fast in Cleveland's quarterback room, and turning a fifth-round draft slot into a red-hot talking point across the NFL. But now, we need to dig into what this really means. Not just for Sanders, not just for Browns, but for the entire league. Because what Shedeur is doing isn't just about football, it's about power. Who gets it, who earns it, and who decides when someone's ready to use it. And right now, Sanders is appending all of that. Let's start with the obvious. The NFL doesn't like being told it missed something. That's why so many teams cling to their draft boards like they're sacred scrolls. The league would rather die on a hill of process than admit a player outperformed their expectations, especially a quarterback. Especially this quarterback. Why? Because Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a symbol of a new football era that's crashing into the old one like a rogue wave, one where players don't wait for media approval, where branding is baked into development, where you don't have to shut up and learn for 3 years before you're allowed to lead. Shedeur Sanders is a disruptor nobody saw coming, and now that he's here, everyone's scrambling to rewrite the rules around him. Take the Browns, for instance. This team was hoping for a normal year, predictable structure. Flacco and Gabriel fight for early reps. Pickett competes as a high-floor backup. Let Shedeur learn quietly, develop behind the scenes, and maybe talk about a year or two leap in 2026. But that plan's in shambles. Why? Because Shedeur didn't ask for permission. He just showed up and delivered. And that delivery? It wasn't flashy. It wasn't some viral trick play or Mahomes-style lateral throw. It was quiet domination. Reps that turned heads. Drives that moved chains. Leadership that clicked immediately. Clean footwork. Better reads than expected. And most importantly, composure. The Browns didn't plan for this. But here's the thing about football. The game doesn't care about your plans. It only respects production. And Shedeur is producing every chance he gets. So what's the holdup? Why is he still having to fight through competition instead of being elevated by it? Simple. It's politics. It's the draft slot. It's the veteran loyalty clause. It's the respect the process speeches that get tossed around every August. And yeah, some of it is about the fear of being wrong. The Browns drafted Gabriel in the 3rd round. They invested time in Pickett. They leaned on Flacco last year. Admitting that Shedeur might already be better than all three, that's not just a roster move. That's a philosophical shift. And for teams like Cleveland, that's terrifying. But what's more terrifying? Missing it. Missing the moment when a guy proves he's the future, and instead of embracing him, you bury him in structure. You call it development, when really it's just protection, not for the player, but for the staff's pride. You don't need to be an expert to see what's happening on the field. You just need to watch who the players are rallying around. Every huddle Shedeur steps into runs smoother. Every drill he touches has more energy. The offense clicks with him. And even the defense, especially the defense, respects him. That's not something you fake. That's earned. And the Browns can either lean into that and ride the wave or get crushed by it. Let's put this into perspective. What if the Browns name him QB2, just for now, but still give Flacco or Gabriel the Week 1 start? Maybe they think they're easing Shedeur in, giving him time. But what happens when the offense stalls? When the boos start? When the fan base starts tweeting gifts of Sanders every time the team goes 3 and out? That moment is coming, whether the Browns want to admit it or not. And when it does, they won't be able to contain it. Because unlike past rookies who had to earn attention, Shedeur came in with the spotlight already on him. And the difference is, he's not shrinking under it. He's glowing. You think ESPN, FS1, or Bleacher Report won't be running Start Sanders graphics by mid-preseason? You think Dion won't be on camera smiling coyly and saying, "They didn't have to give my boy the keys eventually"? Please, this train is leaving the station. You're either on board or you're in the way. Now, let's look even bigger. What does this mean for other young QBs? For future drafts? For how teams evaluate readiness? Because if Shedeur keeps pushing like this and eventually wins a job, or even plays significant time and succeeds, it changes everything. Suddenly, you can't just assume that day 3 QBs are redshirt players. You can't stick to that veterans before rookies script if the rookies walk in smarter, more prepared, and more confident than the vets. You can't act like branding is a distraction when the branded player is also the most prepared guy in the room. Shedeur Sanders might just be the case study that shatters the quarterback pipeline model. And let's not pretend this is all sunshine. If anything, Shedeur's rise is exposing some very uncomfortable truths about how the NFL evaluates leadership. For years, leadership at quarterback has been code for quiet, corporate, mild-mannered face of the franchise behavior. But what happens when leadership shows up looking like Shedeur? A little louder, a little slicker, with a camera crew, with a last name that makes execs nervous, with a belief in himself that makes humble pie guys roll their eyes. It challenges everything. And some people don't like that. But guess what? You don't have to like it. You just have to respect it. Because leadership isn't about being soft-spoken or following the company playbook. Leadership is about showing up, performing, and getting people to follow you. Shedeur is doing that. He's doing it in meetings, on the practice field, in the locker room, in the media, on the timeline. And the Browns? They better catch up. Because whether they're ready to admit it or not, he's already leading. So what's left to do? One thing. Give him the damn team. Let him run with the ones. Not just for a few drives in the preseason. Not as a see-what-happens experiment. But as a quarterback you believe in. Build around him. Start that clock. Give him full access to playbook. Let him take the hits. Let him make the mistakes. Let him grow. Because he's ready. He's been ready. The only question now are the Browns? So, Cleveland fans, will leave it with you. Should Shedeur Sanders be the Week 1 starter? Is this rookie revolution the real deal? Or are the Browns still too stuck in their ways to seize the moment? Drop your take in the comments and hit subscribe if you've been riding the Shedeur train from the start. Because if this isn't the beginning of a new era in Cleveland football, what is?